Today I'm going to explain the movie, Unbroken, released in the year 2014. The movie starts and we see a guy named Louis. Louis is 12 years old, and he drinks and steals at such a young age. When Louis's parents come to know about all these things, then they scold Louis a lot and beat him. But Louis does not give up his habit. One day some people see Louis while having a drink. These people come to catch him, but Louis runs from here. Louis had a brother named Pete. Pete is quite surprised when he sees Louis running so fast. Pete comes to Louis and asks him to be the runner. Pete says that you run very fast. Upon hearing this, Louis says that everyone can run like me. But Pete says that my brother, you are not like others boys. You are different from him. Pete assures Louis and says that you can be a good runner in the future. Pete trains Louis. One day there is a competition in their college. Louis also participated in this competition. Louis runs slow in the competition because he did not want to win this competition. But then Pete shouts and says, "Run fast." Listening to his brother's voice, Louis runs very fast. Its coach is quite surprised to see Louis running. Louis wins the competition. After that we see Louis running. Pete was following it on a bicycle. Louis grows up here running. Louis participates in many competitions and wins them too. In a competition, Louis runs so fast that it makes a new record here. Louis ran 1 mile in 4 minutes. Louis came first in this competition, so it gets selected in the Olympics. When Louis was going for the Olympics, he also asks his brother to accompany him. But Pete jokes that you will not win this Olympics, so why should I go there and see your defeat? Louis says that I will not win this Olympics, but I will definitely win the next Olympics. Hearing this, Pete hugs Louis and says that no matter how big the trouble is in front of you, you never give up. Louis leaves after listening to his brother. The race was about to start in the Olympics. In the first round, Louis could not perform well. The news of the Olympics, the whole family of Louis was listening on the radio. When they hear that Louis is not performing well, then these people are very sad. But when the last round comes, Louis remembers all the things of his brother. Motivated by his brother's words, Louis runs so fast that it makes a new world record in this Olympics. Louis completed the last round in just 56 seconds, and it happened in the 1936 Olympics. With this record, Louis's name echoes throughout the stadium. Now Louis's target was the 1940 Olympics, in which Louis was going to bring gold medals for his country. But Louis's dream is not fulfilled because World War II starts in 1939, due to which the Tokyo Olympics in 1940 gets cancelled. Now we are shown the scene of present time 1943. Here we see Louis, who had joined the American Army. There were other people here with Louis. These people were dropping bombs on their enemies' bases. After completing their mission, they were going back to their camp. But then on the way a plane of enemies starts firing on them. Because of the firing, some of Louis's companions get injured here. Louis's companions were injured, so he asks the pilot to land the plane. While landing, one of the plane's tires bursts, but the pilot doesn't give up and makes the plane land safely. We see Louis, who is running. His friend is following it in the car. Just then some of his friends come here. They tell Louis that we have just got an order. We have to go to rescue some people who are trapped in the sea. After this, Louis takes his plane with his companions, goes to find the people trapped in the sea. Their plane was already bad, due to which one engine of the plane stops working. The pilot tries to control the plane, but he is unable to control the plane, and his plane crashes in the sea. In this crash, all the people except Louis and his 2 companions are killed. These people get out of the plane and save their lives by taking an airboat. Louis's companions who survive, one of them is named Mate and the other's name is Phil. Mate says that now we will not survive. But Louis says that you should not give up so quickly, because you are a soldier and a soldier never gives up. We will definitely survive. Louis finds some chocolates and a water bottle on the boat. Louis says that we have to eat a piece of chocolate every morning and evening to stay alive, because we don't know when the rescue team will be here to save us. These 3 are in the middle of the sea. Wherever they look, they see only water. They spend the whole night on their boat. In the morning, Louis sees a plane. Seeing the plane, Louis quickly fires his flare gun and shouts, but that plane does not see them and leaves from here. Seeing the plane leaving, all their hopes are shattered. Louis sees that all the chocolates he had are over, because Mate had eaten all the chocolates alone. Louis is very angry at Met. Met says it doesn't matter. Louis says it matters a lot, because we have nothing to eat now. Now they are trapped in the sea for 3 whole days. For 3 days these people were lying in the sun hungry and thirsty. The face of these people was dry due to thirst. All 3 were sitting very quietly in the boat, when a bird comes and sits on their boat. Seeing the bird, Louis thinks that if we want to quench our hunger, we have to catch it. Louis catches this bird with a stroke, after which these people kill it and eat it. This food is not digested by them and they start vomiting. After some time the Phil says that we should catch fish so that we can eat them. Now we have fodder too. These people now catch fish, and eat them to quench their hunger. This food was not good for them, but to quench hunger, they have to eat anything. They spend today's day, but at night there is a big storm in the sea. Big waves were rising in the sea. These people were clinging to the boat to save themselves. After some time the storm calms down and it starts raining here. These people did not drink water for many days. So today they drink water after filling their stomach. In the morning, we see that the condition of these people was very bad. Today they have been stranded in the sea for 27 days. These people see a plane. Seeing the plane, Louis shoots his flare gun. This plane is not of America, rather this plane belongs to Japan. Instead of saving them, this plane starts firing at them. These people jump into the sea to save their lives. The plane of Japan was constantly attacking them, due to which their boat gets pierced. They now have only one boat left, in which these three spend their days. Days were passing by slowly. They are now trapped in the sea for 45 days. Mate's condition worsens due to lack of food and drink, due to which mate dies here. Louis and Phil are very sad due to mate's death. Both of them leave the body of the mate in the sea, and wait for their death. Many days pass. Both of them were hungry and thirsty in the sea. One day while both of them were sleeping, then a ship comes to them. This ship was from Japan. Japanese soldiers capture them and bring them to their camp. Their camp was in the middle of the forest. The leader of the camp recognizes Louis, because he had a piece of newspaper with a photo of Louis with an Olympic medal. This was the time of World War II, due to which the fight was going on between America and Japan. Louis is from America, so Louis is the enemy of Japan. Japanese soldiers lock Phil and Louis in dark rooms. The next day they send them to another camp. In this camp hundreds of American soldiers were kept as slaves. All the American soldiers present here were very calm and scared. The camp's in charge, whose name is Watanabe, comes here. Watanabe hated Americans a lot. Watanabe tells all American soldiers that America is my enemy, so I will also treat you like an enemy. Louis was looking at Watanabe only. When Watanabe sees that Louis is looking at it, then he comes to him. He tells Louis that you look in my eyes. When Louise looks into her eyes, he starts hitting her. Watanabe says never look into my eyes or else the result will be very bad. After this all these people are sent to sleep. This place was so dirty that it was very difficult to live here. But these people were compelled and sleep here. The next day, Watanabe tells everyone that one of you is a cook and one is a runner. Watanabe says, who among you are the Olympic runners? Hearing this, Louis raises his hand. Watanabe makes Louis run with one of his soldiers. Louis was very weak and tired, due to which he falls to the ground. Watanabe comes to him and says, you are not a runner, you are not fit to win the Olympics. Louis had fallen on the ground. Watanabe hits Louis a lot here. Actually, Watanabe hates Louis the most among all these prisoners, so he always targeted Louis. There were some prisoners at this place, who were running away from here, but they are caught. When Watanabe comes to know about it, then it calls those prisoners and beats them like animals. One day while working, Louis and Phil look up at the sky and say, that American plane can come here anytime. Watanabe hears them too. Watanabe wakes them up in the middle of the night and hits them hard. After a few days some people from Japan radio come here. These people call Louis and tell him, that the American army is telling your family that you are dead. So do you want to tell your family that you are still alive? Louis agrees, and comes on the radio and gives a message to his family. Louis says I am fine here, you guys don't worry about me, and I will come home soon. After this some Japanese officers give a letter to Louis and say that you have to come and read the things written in this letter on the radio. Actually, some evils were written against America in this letter. After reading the letter, Louis refuses to do so, because Louis does not want to betray his country. The Japanese officer tells Louis, that if you speak the things written in the letter on the radio, then we will take good care of you here. But Louis does not listen to them, due to which the officer sends it back to the camp. Watanabe welcomes Louis to the camp. Watanabe says, I know you are a strong soldier, you are just like me, we both can be good friends but it will not happen, because you are an American, and every American is my enemy. Watanabe says that I have heard that you do not listen to anyone, but today I will tell you how you listen to people. Watanabe puts Louis in front of everyone, and tells all the soldiers to come and hit him one by one, but the American prisoners refuse to do so. Just then Watanabe brings Louis' friend Phil here. Phil was in bad condition because they had hit him a lot. Watanabe tells all the prisoners, that if you don't kill Louis, I will kill Phil so much that he will die. Saying, Watanabe starts killing Phil. Seeing this, Louis tells the soldiers that come strict me, after which all the prisoners start punching Louis one by one. After hits so many people, Louis is badly injured, but Louis had saved his friend Phil's life. After a few days cold weather comes, and snow starts falling in the camp. All the prisoners together do a comedy show here, so that these people have a little laugh and their pain gets reduced a bit. During the show Watanabe comes to Louis and says that I am transferred to Omori, which is why I am going to go there. Hearing this, Louis is very happy inside because Watanabe was about to leave. A few days after Watanabe left, the camp is attacked, due to which many prisoners and some Japanese soldiers are killed here. Their camp was completely broken, due to which all the prisoners present here are transferred to Omori's camp. After reaching here, all the prisoners are made to stand in a line. Only then comes the in charge of the camp. Watanabe was in charge of this camp. Louis stumbles upon seeing Watanabe, but his companions save him from falling. Now we see this camp. This camp was very bad from the previous camp. All the prisoners who were already present here were very injured and weak, even after that the Japanese soldiers used to make them work. The work here was very dangerous. Here the prisoners had to extract coal from the boat. They had to do this work in the cold. When Louis was doing his work, he sees that a prisoner falls down from a height while working, due to which that prisoner dies here. Seeing this, all the prisoners who were present here started crying. One day when Louis was doing his work, a soldier pushes it from behind, causing Louis to fall down, and he is injured. The Japanese soldier was committing a lot of atrocities on the American prisoner. Louis does not lose courage here and he gets up and starts doing his work again. All the prisoners present here used to work whole day without eating food, without drinking water. One day while working, Louis takes some rest, but while resting, a Japanese soldier sees Louis, and he captures him and brings him to Watanabe. Soldier says that this prisoner is not working. On hearing this, Watanabe tells Louis to pick up the wood which is kept in front of you. This wood was very heavy, Louis was very weak, yet he uses all his strength to lift this wood. Watanabe says lift this wood higher. Louis lifts it higher. Watanabe tells one of his soldiers that if you put that wood down, then you shoot it. After a while Louis starts lowering the wood, seeing that all the prisoners working in the camp calm down, and everyone look at Louis. All the prisoners wonder what will happen now. The Japanese soldier will really kill Louis. Japanese soldier was also looking at Louis. Louis remembers what his brother said. Pitt said, no matter what happens in your life, don't ever lose faith in yourself. Louis looks at Watanabe and shouts loudly, lifts the wood up. Louis looks at Watanabe. Watanabe says stop staring at me, but Louis keeps staring at Watanabe. Watanabe doesn't like this thing, and he comes to Louis and starts hitting him. Watanabe started hitting Louis, but Louis was still looking into her eyes. Louis starts missing his training days here and he misses his family here too. Watanabe hits Louis a lot of punches. Louis no longer feels the pain. Watanabe gets tired of hitting Louis and sits here. There was no courage inside Louis, that he could get up and go to sleep. Louis lies here all night and it is morning. After a few days, all the prisoners are made to stand outside together in the ground. The Japanese soldier tells them that you have got a chance to take a bath for the new future of our country. All the prisoners were thinking that the Japanese soldiers would kill them. All the prisoners come to bathe. While taking bath, these people see the American plane in the sky. All the prisoners are very happy seeing the American plane. Actually, the war between Japan and America was over now. All the prisoners are now free. Planes flying in the sky start dropping things down, which contain food and clothes. Louis is still wondering why Watanabe hates it so much. Louis comes to her office to meet Watanabe, but Watanabe is not here because he has left. Louis sees Watanabe's childhood photo here. Finally Louis comes to his home in America, and here he first kisses his land. Louis meets all his family members. And with this the movie ends here.